and social media platforms to encourage developers who wish to change their land use to come and apply to the local authority. The remedial measure is the council will continue to process change of land use based on applications from developers. Targets will be also set depending on the prevailing trends. The other performance was on consolidation of land parcels. The target set in the year was 12, achieved 5, variance 7. The cause of the query: the council acknowledges the observation by the auditors on the variance of 7 against 12 consolidation of annual target. The council wishes to report that the targeted 12 consolidation was a projected number of applications to be received based on past data, which is demand driven. The action taken: the council wishes to report that it has intensified sensitization through public address system and social media platform to encourage developers who wish to consolidate their plots to come and apply to the local authority. And the remedial measure taken is to continue processing applications for plot consolidation, and going forward the target will be set based on the prevailing environment trends. On extensions, Chair, the target which was set for the year was 40, achieved 27, variance 13. The cause of the query: the council acknowledges the observation by the auditors on the variance of 13 against 40 extensions set as an annual target. The council wishes to report that the targeted 40 plot extensions were a projected number of applications to be received based on past data and is demand driven. The action taken to achieve these targets is the council wishes to report that it has intensified sensitization through public address system and social media platforms to encourage developers who wish to extend their plots to come and apply to the local authority. Chair, the remedial measure is the same as in the other target above. Preparation of the local area plans for new areas to be opened from January 2023 to December 2023. The target was to prepare local area plans 4, achieved 1, variance 3. The cause of the query: the council acknowledges the observations by the auditors on the variance of 3 against the annual target of 4, preparations of annual local area plans. The council wishes to report that the areas which were targeted for planning were encumbered by illegal settlers. As such, the process took long, as the department responsible had to undertake a socio-economic survey, land audit and resettlement issues, hence only managed to produce 1 local area plan in 1 area. The action taken: the council wishes to report that the preliminaries for the preparation of the 4 local area plans have been concluded and 1 local area plan has been finalized. And the remedial measure: the council will ensure that areas earmarked for planning are constantly patrolled to avoid encroachment from illegal settlers. Sensitization, scrutiny of building plans, 400 building plans. The action taken: sorry, Chair, the achievements are blank there, and I request for your permission that I skip it and go to the next one whilst my Director of City Planning is checking.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Chair. I have been guided. They are there. The cause of the query, Chair: we had planned to scrutinize 400 building plans. We scrutinized the 339, and the variance is 61. The council acknowledges the observation by the auditors on the variance of 61 against the annual target of 400 planning permissions. The council wishes to report that the variance was as a result of lower number of developers submitting applications for planning permission for building against the anticipated number. These are demand-driven services which Council has no control over. The action taken. The Council wishes to report that it has intensified sensitization through the peer system and social media platforms to encourage developers that intend to begin developing their properties to apply to the Council for planning permission before commencement of their development. The remedial measures is the Council will ensure that the target for scrutiny of plans is set based on the prevailing development trends in the district. The other program, Chair, was review of 60 environmental project briefs and impact assessment reports. The target was 60 in a year. We achieved 54, and the variance is 6. The explanation and cause is that the Council acknowledges the observation by the auditor on the variance of 6 against the annual target of 60 environmental project briefs and impact assessment reports. The Council wishes to report that the variance was as a result of the received number of environmental project briefs from ZEMA to be reviewed, which were lower than the anticipated number. These are demand-driven services which Council has no control over. The action taken, the Council wishes to report that all the received environmental project briefs from ZEMA are reviewed and comments have since been submitted. Remedial measures, the Council will ensure that the targets for review of environmental project briefs is set based on the prevailing EPBs received from ZEMA. Conducting meetings for leaders in wards on causes and effects of climate change. The target was 30, achieved 0, variance 30. The explanation. The Council acknowledges the observation by the auditors on the variance of 30 against the annual target of 30 meetings on climate change. However, the Council wishes to report that the environmental education meeting on climate change was combined with the WD sensitization meetings. Action taken. The Council wishes to report that the 30 meetings on causes of climate change were undertaken together with the sensitization and orientation of WASHE sensitization activities to save on costs. The remedial measure. The Council will ensure that reports for combined activities are done separately. Sensitization of external stakeholders on issues to do with WASH activities. The target were 28. We achieved 22, variance 6. The cause, the Council acknowledges the observation by the auditors on the variance of 6 against the annual target of 28 sensitization on WASH activities. The Council wishes to report that the identified stakeholders dealing with water, sanitation and health education activities that could be sensitized turned out to be 22 as opposed to 28 which were targeted. Development control. Stage inspection. The target was 100. We achieved 60 and the variance was 40. The Council acknowledges the observation by the auditors on the variance of 40 against the target of 100. However, the Council wishes to report that the activity is demand driven as is dependent on the rate at which developers are executing construction activities. The Council has continued to carry out stage inspection of all development being taken by developers. The remedial measure is the Council will ensure that going forward the targets for stage inspections are based on prevailing statistics of requests made by developers. Scrutinizing of 350 building plans. The target was to scrutinize 350 building plans. We scrutinized 340, a variance of 10. The cause, Chair, is that the variance of 10 was because of the actual number of developers who submitted the applications for planning permissions of the buildings, and that the council would continue to scrutinize the building plans as submitted by the developers. Chair, I will go to the holding of DDCC meetings.
Town Clerk, I'll ask that you speak the outputs. It is as a result of these queries that you have specific queries in the report, such as the one on page 13 and going forward, because this is the one giving us failure to collect revenue here because you didn't undertake these specific activities. However, should the honorable members want to interrogate you further, or come back to Appendix B, I specifically wanted you to read these because of the way you presented them with a very small font. So I wanted your eyes just to enjoy this part. We can go to page 13. Who prepared this?
Thank you, Chair. I'm guided.
Who prepared this Appendix B?
The appendix was prepared by the council management under the supervision of the Director of City Planning.
I'm sure you will charge them because you will be laboring to read this small font. We can go to page 13.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, the query is on page 13. The query is on failure to collect burial permit fees.
You can read the main heading and
the 5,500. The council acknowledges the audit findings by the auditor, which was caused by allowing some council staff and other government officers with bereavements to pay burial permits in installments if at time of burial they do not have full payments processed by the funeral scheme. The action taken. The council issued final demand notices to the affected staff for immediate settlement of the outstanding balances, and a total of 50,000 has been paid, remaining with the balance of 15,500 to be recovered from 2 officers. The table on Appendix C shows the receipts recovered up to the tune of 50,000. The remedial measure, Chair, is on page 14. After showing the table of the recoveries, the council put up a stop to allow staff pay burial permits in installments. Lack of serially numbered burial permits. The council acknowledges the observations made by the auditor on the use of burial permits which were not serially numbered in sequence. This was caused by the use of non-standardized burial permits which are serially numbered from government printers. The action taken. The council procures serially numbered burial permits from government printers or government approved printing companies. Appendix D refers to the burial permits currently being used at the council. The remedial measure, Chair, the council procures serially numbered burial permits from government printers and government approved printing companies. Weakness in the management of the payroll and staff related matters. Irregular payment of allowances to retirees, 1,063,167 kwacha. The council acknowledges the observations made by the auditor in respect of the query for the payment of education and transport allowance to the retired officers amounting to 1,063,167 kwacha. The council wishes to report that the payment of education and transport allowance to the retired officers was based on the guidance provided to the local authorities by the Local Government Service Commission through the circular number LGSC 1018/1 dated 5th February 2021, in which councils were guided to pay all legitimate allowances anchored on the judgment of the Constitutional Court on Owen Mayapi and 4 others versus Zambia National Broadcasting Corporation. Appendix E refers to the circular from the Commission. The action taken. The Council adheres to the guidance provided by the Local Government Service Commission and the Constitutional Court judgment. Remedial measures. The Council adheres to the guidance provided by the Local Government Service Commission and the Constitutional Court judgment. Weakness in the management of street vending. Failure to control street vending on page 17. The Council acknowledges the observation made by the auditor and wish to state that despite the street vending control measures put in place, such as patrolling the central business district and sensitization of street vendors, some vendors were sneaking into the CBD in the evening when council police knock off. The action taken. The council implements shifts in street vending patrolling and control both during the day and part of the night, coupled with continuous sensitization. The council further procured a motor vehicle to enhance patrols to curb street vending. The remedial measures. The council implements shifts in street vending patrolling and control both during the day and part of the night, coupled with continuous sensitization of the vendors. Transport management. Failure to change ownership of a donated motor vehicle, page 18. The council acknowledges the observation made by the auditor on the failure to change ownership of the donated Toyota Hilux registration number ALK 1214, which was registered under the donor Copperfields Mining Services. The failure to change ownership was as a result of failure by the donor to surrender the white book in time, claiming it was misplaced. The donor, Copperfields Mining Services Company, subsequently traced the white book and availed it to the council. The action taken. The council applied for change of ownership to Roads Transport and Safety Agency. Zambia Police Service cleared the transaction, while Zambia Revenue Authority is yet to clear to enable Roads Transport and Safety Agency change the ownership. Appendix F refers to the documents so far as we've deposited them with Zambia Police, RATSA, as well as ZRA. The remedial measure. The council ensures that any new donations are received supported by corresponding documentation. Irregular occupation of a council building by employees, the clubhouse. The council acknowledges the query on the house occupied by a council police officer who had occupied the house in 2017. The officer was put in the clubhouse on a caretaker basis to provide security and to prevent vandalism. In addition, it was observed that the officer had received housing allowances in amounts totaling 52,931 kwacha during the period of her stay. The council delayed to renovate the clubhouse and feared that it would be vandalized if left unoccupied. The action taken. The council has put a budget provision to renovate the clubhouse in the 2025 budget, and the final letter to vacate the clubhouse was given to the employee, coupled with approval to allocate her a low-cost plot where the officer should relocate to. Appendix G refers to the council resolving to allocate her a plot. The remedial measures. The council is committed to renovating the clubhouse for use by the Ndola United Football Club, which got promoted to the National League One. Procurement of services and goods and services, failure to avail logbooks, 1,191,154. The council acknowledges the observations made by the auditor on the failure to avail logbooks for the 16 motor vehicles. The action taken. The council wishes to report that the transport officer was tasked to trace the whereabouts of the logbooks. The logbooks were traced and are now available for audit verification. Appendix H refers to the logbooks. The remedial measures: the transport officer ensures weekly inspection of all vehicles to ensure drivers are updating logbooks. Page 22. The query: 20% for capital projects, delayed completion of market shelter at Pine Grove in Chifubu constituency. The explanation: the council acknowledges the observations made by the auditor on the non-timely completion of the Pine Grove market in Chifubu, which was mainly caused by non-immediate availability of funds, as it depended on monthly equalization funds. The action taken: the council wishes to state that the market has now been completed and awaits commissioning. The completion certificate is available for audit verification at Appendix I refers, and the pictures of the shelter on page 23. The remedial measure: the council adopted the maintenance policy of infrastructure and will be followed from time to time. Weakness in land management unaccounted for plots. Page 24. The council acknowledges the observation made by the auditor on the unaccounted for plots in Itawa extension, which were approved for regularization by the council. Action taken: management conducted a search at the Ministry of Lands to ascertain the offerees for the 92 plots and deduce the 35 unaccounted for plots. The search reviewed that 57 plots had not been offered at the Ministry of Lands, and further, site visit showed the undeveloped plots. The council commenced the process of repossessing the plots. Appendix J refers to the search report obtained from Ministry of Lands. The remedial measure: the council initiated a land management system which ensures that site plans, plots, and plot premiums are accounted for. Failure to collect regularization fee on page 25, 4,034,940. The council acknowledges the observation made by the auditor on the failure to collect regularization fees amounting to 4,034,940 kwacha. This was partly caused by the suspension of the land agents on the council, which left some unscrupulous people taking advantage to begin issuing unplanned land anyhow. The action taken: the council wrote demand notices to all the 254 developers who were approved for regularization. The applicants commenced payments and the status is shown at Appendix K. The remedial measure: the council initiated a land management system which ensures that site plans, plots, and plot premiums are accounted for. Failure to collect market stands premium from Kapalala market, 248,400. The council acknowledges the observation made by the auditor on unpaid premium for the 23 lock-up stores at this time of audit. The delayed payment for the remaining 23 premium for the lock-up stores was caused by the change in the site plan to allow ease management of waste at Kapalala market. The 23 lock-up stands applicants were earmarked for relocation, therefore council could not receive the payment. The action taken: the council wishes to report that upon relocating of applicants, were sent and all applicants paid for the premiums as shown in the table below. Page 27, Chair, shows the receipts which we received from the applicants affected. Page 28, failure to collect plot premium for Dollar Hill, NCC, Henan Gorge, 71,000 kwacha. The council acknowledges the observation made by the auditor regarding the partly paid plot premium for 3 officers of Ndola City Council who requested for authority to pay in installments as they could not afford an outright payment of 71,000 kwacha. The action taken, page 29. The council wishes to report that the officers have continued to comply with the payment plan with the view to liquidate the outstanding balance. So far, 1 officer cleared the outstanding balance, while the other 2 have continued to comply with the payment plan to liquidate the balance amounting to 94,000. Appendix L refers to the recoveries made, and the table below shows what is outstanding. The remedial measure. The council wishes to report that all officers that request to pay for land development charges pay through the payroll. Weaknesses in the management of commercial ventures, failure to maintain infrastructure. Kafubu Inn, page 30. The council acknowledges the auditor regarding the dilapidated roof and timber at Kafubu Inn, one of the commercial ventures for the local authority. The failure to maintain is mainly as a result of financial constraints and inability to undertake major renovations at the same time. The action taken. The council wishes to report that due to financial constraints, the council has drawn a schedule for rehabilitating council infrastructure in a phased manner. The council renovated Ambassador Hotel, which was on the first schedule. The pictures below shows the rehabilitated Ambassador Hotel conference room. The council further wishes to report that rehabilitation of Kafubu Inn is budgeted for in 2025. Appendices, Chair, on page 32. These are matters arising from the other report of 2022 financial year. The query, Chair, is on audit opinion. The council acknowledges the observation made by the auditor on the qualified opinion for the financial statements for the financial years 2022 and 2023, which was as a result of failure to properly reconcile the opening balances for the base year 2018. The action taken. The council wishes to report that authority was sought from the Office of the Auditor General to review the corrected financial statements for the financial years 2018 to 2023. The council wishes to report that the reinstated financial statements were rendered an unqualified audit opinion upon verification of corrected financial statements for the years 2018 to 2023. Appendix M refers to the letter of reinstatement from the Office of the Auditor General. The remedial measure. The council has put up a team of dedicated accountants to ensure the local authority prepares financial statements that are free from material errors. Appendix 2, budget income and expenditure, 11,361,435. The council acknowledges the observation made by the auditor on the expenditure variance of 11,361,431,000, which was caused by unspent funds relating to the work in progress of capital projects that were still under implementation. Chair, this is as relating to the query that we corrected, page 3, which I've already read to the committee and answered. With your permission, Chair, I may appendix 3, which is failure to correct revenue. Thank you. Failure to correct revenue, 201,729, 201,721,336. The council acknowledges the observation made by the auditor on the accumulated and collected property rates revenues amounting to 201,729,336 kwacha, which is mainly as a result of unpaid property rates for government properties, which accumulates annually. The unpaid for property rates for government institutions account for 149,511,491.78 ingwe, while more than half of the remaining differences relates mostly to abandoned buildings where owners have relocated or have closed business, as well as residential property rates which has low compliance levels. The action taken. Page 34, the council wishes to report that it has continued to engage the Ministry of Local Government on the payment of grant in lieu of rates for property belonging to government, while demand notices and engagement of bailiffs has been employed to encourage compliance. The council wishes to report further that management resolved to list the abandoned buildings with a view of recovery of property rates where owners' rates are untraceable, which will be implemented in the year 2025. Procedurally, Appendix N refers to correspondence on the request for grant in lieu of rates, schedule of uncollected government institution property rates, and a summary of the property performance as at 31st December 2024, which shows some improvement. The remedial measures. The council wishes to report that it will continue to sensitize citizens on the importance of paying local taxes, as well as employing revenue enhancement strategies and deploying the technology in collection of revenue. The council will continue to pursue for the payment of grant in lieu of rates from the Ministry of Finance through the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development. Failure to collect revenue, 4,614,698. The council acknowledges the observation made by the auditors and wish to state that in 2018 there were massive transfers countrywide, and Ndola City Council received a number of officers. The council could not afford to pay settling in allowance at once, and hence a decision was made to accommodate the officers at Kafubu Inn and Ambassador Hotel. The action taken. The council has written the affected officers who stayed at these institutions, demanding for payment of the outstanding payments. The remedial measure, the council no longer accommodates officers on transfers at its commercial ventures. Appendix 16, failure to fill vacant positions. The query, the council acknowledges the observation made by the auditors caused by the failure to fill 392 vacant positions. Action taken. The council wishes to report that employment of staff is a preserve of the Local Government Service Commission for the divisions that are 1, 2, and also subject to the availability of the local authority to pay. The Commission has continued to employ staff to fill vacant positions as prioritized by the council. The remedial measures, council engages the Local Government Service Commission on the vacant positions commensurate to the budget provisions. Appendix 19, failure to provide white books for motor movable assets. The council acknowledges the observation made by the auditors on the failure to provide white books for vehicles which were misplaced in previous years, and efforts to trace them proved futile. Action taken. The council commenced the process to obtain the white books from Road Traffic and Safety Agents. The council has since paid RATSA to conduct inspection of the vehicles and waiting for ZRI clearance. At Appendix P is a correspondence that shows our engagement of the two institutions to issue fresh white books. Measures of the town work in a safe for safekeeping. is the library and housing department offices at all station. The observation made by the auditor on the failure to maintain the library and housing department offices. Old Mushiri Market Shelter would take up to maintain is mainly as a result of financial constraints and inability to undertake major innovations at the same time. The action we have taken, the council wishes to report that due to financial constraints, the council has drawn a schedule on rehabilitating of the council infrastructure. The council renovated the civic center, which was in a first phase and has earmarked to go on other council buildings in the phased manner. The remedial measures is the council adopted the maintenance policy for infrastructure and will follow from time to time. Poor management of waste, page 37. The council acknowledges the observation by the auditor on the failure to provide waste bins, receptacles, and unfenced dump site caused by vandalism by residents when council places made waste bins and liquid challenges to fence the dump site. The council has engaged shop owners to ensure they have waste bins on their premises while conducting sensitization campaigns to residents on safeguarding of public property. The measures, the council has continued placing waste bins in strategic safe places and have a clean environment and a green campaign conducted every Friday. Appendix 28, failure to settle statutory obligations. 147,548,464,000 kwacha. The council acknowledges the observation made by the auditor on the failure to settle statutory obligations amounting to 147,587,464 caused by liquidity challenges. Action taken. The council has a payment plan in place where a minimum of 400,000 kwacha is paid towards statutory obligations every month. The council has paid a total of 5,708,401 kwacha in the year 2024. Appendix Q shows the payment. Remedial measures. The council has put up revenue enhancement measures in order to increase revenue base. Appendix 29, failure to settle staff obligations. 33,619,882. The council acknowledges the observations made by the auditor regarding the outstanding staff obligations amounting to 33,619,882, which is caused by liquidity challenges faced by the local authority. The action taken. The council has a payment plan in place where a minimum of 300,000 kwacha is paid towards terminal benefits and 100,000 kwacha towards long service bonus every month. The council paid a total of 4,780,750.27 in the year 2024. Appendix R refers. The remedial measure, the council has put up revenue enhancement measures in order to increase revenue base and has further resolved paying staff obligations through the payroll. Appendix 31, management of local government equalization fund. 4,402,297. The council acknowledges the observation made by the auditor on the variance amounting to 4,402,297 on the management of local government equalization fund, which was caused by errors carried forward from the financial year 2020. The action taken. The council wishes to report that the errors were resolved and authority was sought from the office of the Auditor General to review the council's corrected financial statements for the years ended 2018 to 2023. The financial statements were reviewed and unqualified opinion was given for the period submitted. Remedial measure. The council has assigned senior experienced accountants to ensure avoidance of material errors in the management of records of books of accounts for the council. Appendix 34, failure to insure fire officers, 79 officers. The council acknowledges the observation made by the auditor on the failure to insure fire officers, the action taken. The council wishes to report that the 79 fire officers have been insured as at an annual total cost of 166,570,076 ingwe. The payment voucher and proof of payment are available for audit verification at Appendix S refers. The remedial measures, the council will ensure compliance with management of fire station management for safety of fire officers. Appendix 35, Chair, which is the last one, it is the lack of a rescue ambulance and marine rescue equipment. The council acknowledges the observation made by the auditor on non-availability of the ambulance, utility vehicle and marine rescue equipment at the time of audit caused by the breakdown of an ambulance and non-procurement of the utility vehicle and marine rescue equipment. The action taken so far, the council wishes to report that the ambulance was repaired and the fire utility vehicle was procured, while rescue equipment has been budgeted to be procured during the financial year 2025. The picture of the ambulance and the fire utility vehicles are shown. Chair, I submit.
Thank you so much. We'll invite points of clarifications. We'll start with Honorable Mulunda.
Chair, thank you very much. This report, Chair, your report, it's a sad reading, Chair. Ndola City Council has a lot of money, based on this report, not from hearsay, but a lot of money from this report. We have seen the failure to correct monies in now is causing the Ndola City Council to start planning for 2025 to just get the rescue equipment for their firefighters or fire officers. Chairperson, if the auditors didn't pass through, I'm on page 40, the last two queries. If the auditors didn't pass through, were these officers going to be insured? Or for how long has this ambulance, rescue ambulance been out of road? Which took the auditors, now that the auditors went there, the vehicles, the utility vehicles are back on road. If that is not negligence, Chairperson, then what is it? I want to find out from the town clerk how long this vehicle has been down, and why should they wait up to the end, up to 2025, to be able to procure the equipments that are required by the firefighters, putting our officers on risk without even insuring them. Chair, thank you.
Thank you so much. CS, additional, Honorable Singombe.
Chair, thank you very much. Mine is more of a general question, but on the same officers. Town clerk, I'm aware you've been insuring your fleet of vehicles. And Chair, failure to insure your fellow human beings, no matter at what category they were. Surely, don't you think there was some degree of negligence? If auditor did not pass through, did you take those people as human beings who really required your protection?
Yes, witness, you may respond to those two.
Chair, I agree that the failure to insure fire officers amounts to negligence on the part of management. And For now, Chair, I can only speak for the remedial measure that we've done is to ensure fire officers. What I should also deposit before this committee is that as principal officers, we move among stations. And when we have challenges in local authorities, some challenges, we prioritize them as management, and insurance of assets of the council, as well as officers of the council, is one of the priorities. And in an event that you find that they were not insured, one of the immediate action to undertake is to insure them, which we've done. Chair, we can only pledge before this committee that we will ensure that officers are insured because they perform a very risky assignment of attending to fires. And the more reason that we have attached importance for now, we've even bought them a utility vehicle. We've repaired the ambulance. We are currently working on ensuring that we work now on the marine equipment. That's what I can say, Chair.
Honorable Dr. Mwanza.
Thank you, Chair. We take the committee to page 2. So the page 2 is showing the budget and income that the council expected during the financial year under review. Table 1. Why didn't council budget for levies and commercial venture as well as grants? The second question goes on page 3. The total funds that were unspent was 11,361,435 kwacha as at 31st December 2023. And you have provided us with an addendum, Appendix A, which shows how the 11,361,435 was spent. The grand total here is 11,116,974, where the difference is 244,460 unaccounted for. Any explanation as to why the 244,000 is unaccounted for from the unspent funds of 11,361,435? We should be on the same table to lead to the question on page 21. Page 21 of your submission. Management of equalization funds, 20% for capital projects, delayed completion of market shelter at Pine Grove in Chifu. This project is funded under the 20% local government equalization fund, and you have stated that 20% of what you received in 2023 of 22,011,486, 20% of that is 4,297. Money to be spent on capital projects under 2023 financial year. the projects that are funded under the 20% equalization fund for 2023 are detailed on Appendix A, the one that you circulated also, beside the market shelter at Pine Grove for Chifu. When I look at the details of the projects that are funded under the capital account, because this table is showing the name of the project, then the amount, and the account from which you're drawing the monies. So capital account, there are about 12, I think about 13 projects. The last column, capital account. So if you add all the monies under capital account, is coming to 5,894,210. The question is, why the monies under capital expenditure spent on projects is above the threshold of your 20% allocation to the Local Government Equalization Fund for 2023. There's a budget overrun of about 1,491,913. On the same page 21, under the same question of Local Government Equalization Fund, you are explaining that as at 31st December, that is now assuming that you use the 20% specifically for capital projects. You are explaining that as at 31st December 2023, amounts totaling to 7,193,429 of the capital of the Local Government Equalization Fund had been spent, leaving a balance of 4,972,835. Your capital project allocation for under Local Government Equalization Fund is just a stretch above 4 million. Why?
Just hold on, Honorable Member. I don't wish to disturb you. But before you came in, we had a correction on these figures by the Office of the Auditor General. For the sake of yourself and others, Auditor General, are you able to just put in the correct figures once more on page 21?
Chair, just a minute. Let me get the document again here where I was writing. Thank you, Chair. When you look at the balance that is purported to have remained after spending an amount of 7,193,429, it does not tally with the amount that was retained as 20%. What we have noticed here, there's an error here in terms of the figures. There's supposed to be some balance brought forward from 2022 into 2023. And then when you do that, will be affected, even the balance will be affected. This is a figure that I expect the DF to help and so that we reconcile on this figure. If you look at the figure, there's a balance brought forward, and I want to believe that the DF will be able to reconcile, of 10,478,329 as balance brought forward, and then you add the 4 million which is in the report there, 402,997. When you add these two, they will give you the figure which is 14,880,626 as funds available for expenditure. And then now when you look at, if I read the last paragraph there, which says as at 31st December 2023, amounts totaling 7,193,429 had been spent, leaving a balance. That figure, of course, is not correct now. So we have a balance of 7,687,197. It is as it now, we can't use the 4 million and spend.
I should have had this corrected for those that may have joined us after the preliminary issue was raised to us by the Office of the Auditor General. Yes, Honorable Manza.
Thank you for the but I have a question still more on the correction.
Yes.
You are saying 10 million, how much?
10.4 million was brought forward.
Okay, 10.4 million was brought forward to 2023. That is from 2022.
Yes.
Under local government equalization, which is 20%.
Yes.
This amount is above of 20% of local government equalization. Because just look at like this year, like 2023, the year under review, the council received 22 million kwacha under LGEF, and the 20% of it is only 4.4. How could it be possible that the previous year, 2022, would have a carryover of more than 10 million kwacha as retention of 20% of that year's local government equalization fund? Definitely, the LGEF for 2022 is less than the local government equalization fund for 2023.
In short, why were we not spending the carryover of 10.4?
Thank you, Chair. Chair, responding to the honorable member of the committee's questions, I'll be assisted by Director of Finance, but let me just add from the first table that was queried on page 2. The question was, why didn't the council budget for the levies as well as for the commercial ventures and the other grants? Chair, the explanation is that for levies, they are slightly different from fees and charges. Fees and charges is the money we charge for providing a service of a municipal nature to the residents and any people doing business in our towns. Ndora City Council did not have the bylaws that could be implemented to bring in levies such as fish levy and others. And so that is why that figure was not budgeted for under the budget in question. But as of now, the council is in the process of making a track levy, and therefore we've started budgeting for levies in the 2025 and subsequent years, assuming will be approved. It is one of those that we have provided for. For the commercial ventures, I was guided by my accountants and the DS Director of Finance will speak to this, that the commercial ventures had a separate budget previously and it was not being incorporated in the council budget. So what they were putting in the council budget was the anticipated profits that will be earned by the commercial ventures as an income, and that's why it was blank. But my Director of Finance will elaborate further. For the other grants, normally we had an instruction from the government that what we were expecting is only the local government equalization fund, and once we have received it, that was it all. We didn't have any other grant. However, we received one, which is the actual there, 3,046,000, which was in respect of a bridge called Mwenye Bridge, and that was separate funding, which was not anticipated for, but it came during the course of the year 2023. That's the explanation that I can give on the blanks in the budget, why they were not provided for. Then Chair, the issue of the variance in the figures or not balancing, I would like to be assisted by my Director of Finance. He understands much more the intricacies of what could have caused this, DF.
Thank you, Chair. I'll speak maybe just to add on the levies. Apart from the track levy, we also are endeavoring to introduce timber levy. Ndola has a sizable plantation for timber that we intend to start benefiting from, and the process has been commenced, so we hope that we can start implementing this before the year ends. Chair, on the non-budgeting of commercial ventures, the commercial ventures are learning autonomy away from the council operations, and so what should have been done was for us to budget for anticipated revenue. But like the TC said, Chair, not running away from responsibility, issues of perpetual succession, this was not put in our main budget stream so that we can match against anticipated income. And that's why I have a blank vote there on the commercial ventures, Chair. And then coming to failure to spend, first the brought forward of 10 million from 2022, Chair, and subsequent we had 4 million for the year 2023, which means expendable figures coming 15 million plus. Chair, again, would not say much, but I would be able to confess, Chair, that with the coming with the current town clerk, all the funds on the capital projects were exhausted, and the projects were all implemented. The last ones, the ones that we have now that completed this year, last year, sorry, Chair. And then the expenditure referred to by the Honorable Member, where we spent 5 million, that is on our addendum. Chair, these are all current funds, that's why we could not spend in the exact figures that were allocated in 2023. I submit, Chair.
Honorable Dr. Mwanza, then Honorable Mulunda.
Thank you, DF, for your explanation. Do you confirm that you had a balance brought forward of 10 million plus from the 2022 budget under local government equalization fund for capital project retention?
Yes, Town Clerk, you can delegate to Director of Finance.
Chair, the Director of Finance will speak to the figures, but I must be honest before this committee that I found some substantial amount of 20% equalization fund not spent on capital projects. And partly that was making the council borrow from the account to enable meet the running expenses of salaries. But I think we've done away with that. We had to pay back and spend the money meant for capital projects. So it is true there were figures that were slightly high, but I cannot give the exact figure of how much was carried
Director of
forward.
Finance.
Thank you, Chair. Not looking at the figures, Chair, I did not pay attention as I was coming on the brought forward figure for 2022. But like the town clerk has said, at the time that I was joining Ndola City Council in July 2023, we had a balance of over 7.5 million in our capital account.
Honorable Mulunda.
The question is, what was the local government equalization fund allocation for 2022? Probably Minister of Local Government can assist. For this year, for 2023, it was 22 million, 22 million and 11,486. What was the allocation? This should be easy for DF for 2022.
Okay, Chair, will be assisted by the Director of Finance if he's able to pick the figures. But what I know, Chair, is that there was no substantial change in the local government equalization fund between the year 2022 funding and 2023 funding. We more or less continued on the same grant seedings.
Yes, so now it means if we are almost on the same ceiling, it means that 20% of the 2022 should have been slightly below 4 million kwacha. Maybe 4.2, 4.3, something like this. Not 10 million.
Chair, will be assisted by the Director of Finance to respond to that.
Thank you, Chair. From the figures, it's like just Tonka has said, our equalization fund hasn't changed much, probably from 2018. Now, from the figures, if we carried forward 10 million in 2022, it means that there was also some carry forward from the previous years, like 2021, and funds were accumulating in that account. And so subsequently, we carried forward, Chair, 10 million. Other funds coming as far as 2021. Yes, Submit, Chair.
Yes, so we want to go to the root cause, because it seems because from the calculations, the 2022 definitely would have maybe 4.2 million. Then from 2021, probably 3 point something million. Previous years, so 3 financial years, government is giving money to Ndola City Council for that money to be utilized under capital projects, which is a very, very important aspect of the grant from government, and the money is not utilized till 2023. Why?
Yes.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, the Honourable Member is right that there was a very slow pace at which the capital project were being done. But, Chair, we can only report that that is no longer the case. We exhausted the capital projects we paid.
Thank you. Honorable Mulunda.
Chair, I'm worried a bit. We could be speaking to a wrong team, sir. Because when you look at this report and getting the responses from the DF and the town clerk, it appears that all these challenges on this report, you found them. Maybe it will be of interest, Chair, to know when these officers went to Ndola. Because when you look at the report, every page that you go to, there is failure to do this, failure to do this, even barrier permits can't get regularization of plots. They can't correct a lot of them, a lot of failure. Maybe we are talking to a wrong team. You know, they found all these things, and maybe we'll be interested to know, Chair, if these people have been, I mean, when they went to Ndola City Council.
I don't want to demoralize the discussion if we learned that they went there last year, but I know that they indicated of issues of perpetual succession. But for the sake of your question, Town Clerk, when did you go to Ndola City Council?
Chair, thank you so much. I will answer the Chair's question. Chair, we take full responsibility of the contents of this report because I am the Town Clerk. We are not attributing to the past, and that's why we have endeavored to answer. But why we are saying we've changed the scenario is to give us chance that subsequent appearances will not be with so many failure to collect. Chair, I went to Ndola City Council in September 2023.
Can we have more points of clarifications? Honorable Mulunda and
Chair, thank you very much.
Dr.
At least at least you have some comfort that he went to Ndola in 2023. And in his response, earlier on, you alluded to the fact that, yes, these are things that maybe happened before we went there. I was worried about the non-insurance of the officers, non-acquisition of the equipment, and these are things that immediately you take off or you take over. You are supposed to look at it. What made you to wait from 2023 to budget for those things for 2025? Chair, thank you.
Thank you so much. Honorable Dr. Mwanza, you want to add?
Well, it's about the market at market shelter at Pine Grove in Chifuvu.
Can we have that answered by Honorable Mulunda? Then we go to the new question.
Chair, there was no waiting as such to ensure the fire officers. It's the liquidity problems in the council and the constrained cash flow. But we were only now able to begin to ensure the fire officers and pay after efforts to broaden the revenue base. So it is not necessarily waiting, but it was the cash flow that was very, very constrained. We must admit that the city has a lot of challenges, and one of which is a very big wage bill to pay the workers. And so sometimes management tends to concentrate on raising money and paying the workers. Chair, we will not shun away to say the wage bill has been in the range of about 8 million per month. And so to raise that money has not been very easy. And so you find that other activities and operations would suffer because you've got to remunerate the workers first and then you attend to others. So the only answer is to broaden the revenue base. It was not deliberate waiting to ensure the fire officers.
Honorable Dr. Mwanza? Go ahead.
I want to speak to Freddy.
Go ahead.
I take you to page 18.
18.
Honorable Chairperson. Honorable Chairperson, we are talking about failure. There are a lot of failures actually in this council. So maybe before I attribute it to negligence, but let's follow what is here. Maybe I'm actually going to attribute it to negligence. Just like my colleague has said, there are a lot of failures. This query is a failure to change ownership of a donated motor vehicle. When I went through, this motor vehicle was donated actually, when you look at appendix, just a moment, to appendix E or so, the motor vehicle was donated to the council in 2023. And from 2023, in fact it's 2022 if I'm not mistaken. From 2022 to 2023, and this is 2024, the council secretary has said yes, he acknowledges it was actually donated. I mean the town clerk, sorry for that, town clerk, I'm sorry. But it has to take more than 3 years in order to just do the change of ownership. They managed to get, they were waiting for the white book. The white book was availed to them. And despite actually doing that, they started the process. If I may ask, how long does it take to do the change of ownership? After you acquired the white book, I'm sure that you were waiting for the white book. But the white book was provided to the council. Then they started the process. Chair, I know your background, where you're coming from. You have done this before. They report, and according to the regulations, we are told that you are not supposed to stay for such a long time. However, they stayed for quite a long time, within 14 days. The council, maybe let me read for the sake of our viewers and listeners. Section 13(1)(a) of the Road Traffic Act number 11 of 2002 states that the registered owner shall, within 14 days, inform the licensing officer of the district in which the vehicle or trailer is registered, in writing of the name and address of the new owner and the date of the change of ownership of the motor vehicle or trailer, and shall deliver his motor vehicle or trailer registration book and license to the new owner. Contrary to the Act, a scrutiny of a fixed asset registered reviewed that the council had a motor vehicle, Toyota Hilux registration number ALK 1214, which was registered under Copperfield Mining Services Limited. Inquiries with the management reviewed that the vehicle was donated to the council on unknown date. However, as of 30th August 2024, the council had not changed the ownership of the vehicle. Now, they have provided actually some evidence which we have here in Appendix F. Appendix F, when you look at what they've provided here, if you look at the letter of handover, this vehicle was handed over on 11th April 2023. And they started pursuing actually the change of ownership in May 2024. Now, you already saw a year finished without actually this council taking any action at all. And also they started the process. Now they've told us that they are waiting for ZRA. Waiting for ZRA to maybe clear this vehicle. Up to now, I'm sure this vehicle is not yet, the change of ownership has not been done. So I want to ask the town clerk, would you attribute this to negligence, or what is the problem with Ndola Council? You failed to do this, which yourself and myself are able to do it within 1 week. But as a council, a very big council, city council, you failed to do this. Why are you failing to abide by the regulations? And you are law-abiding, just the same as we are lawmakers. We should not actually be the ones that are also trying to break the law. Why are you doing this? That is my question, first of all, before I go to another ferry.
Honorable Member for Karulushi, you want to add?
Chair, mine is totally different from, maybe I'll allow the town clerk to respond on, and then maybe I can come in because it's totally different from...
Yes, town clerk.
Chair, the member of the committee, honorable member, is very right. We've taken unnecessarily long to change ownership when the law stipulates that it should have been changed in 2024. Chair, we want to just undertake before this committee that we apologize for this lapse and negligence of duty. We advance the change of ownership. Issues of attitudes in public institutions. That
to raise just before you could change the ownership.
No, Chair, it is just people not taking work seriously. But I promise this committee we are going to conclude this issue.
Have you charged anyone?
No, Chair.
Under this section?
Chair, I haven't charged anyone.
We would like to see action towards such negligence of duty. This is what will reduce such queries. Continue to apologize when they stipulate what you as town clerk or the supervisor must do to officers who know what they are supposed to do, but they are neglecting to do that. But they want to be paid on time. Yet they are not performing their functions. So you see the discrepancy. On the other end, you are doing as much as possible, raise money to pay them first. But we need performance of duties, service delivery. Our officers have a laissez-faire attitude. We must see a change. We would like to see chief officers, supervisors, charging those that fall under their supervision to make sure that we improve the performance in our duties. Honorable Kamondo.
Yes, and maybe the last irregularity also. I take you to page 28. This is actually, the query is from Hanin. That's the Hanin NCC, yes. At Dollar Hill, NCC Hanin. The council, Ndola Council, had advertised the plots. Other people were asked actually to pay in full. But there are some council workers and holding very senior positions were allowed to pay in installments. I want to find out whether that is the normal way of doing things to discriminate other people from the council, whether there is still that law which promotes that the workers who are working for the council are supposed to be given favors other than them. And if that is the case, it has taken too long, and hence the query. The monies were not paid in full. But if these plots were given to the public, other people could have paid this money, and the council could have raised a lot of money. Up to now, there are two council workers. One is the director engineering, who has now finally finished. The other one is the former director finance, who is still owing in Dollar Council 59,000 kwacha. And the other one actually is a director public health. Very senior management positions. They offer themselves plots at the expense of those people in Ndola who don't have even any piece of land. But them, they give themselves this favor, and they are getting salaries, and they are paying slightly low. Hence this query. What is it that you are doing? Why should you favor yourselves and not favor also the people of Zambia who are in their need of the same land? Why are you doing this?
Honorable Kampamba, you can also ask your question. They will hold on to answer that one.
Thank you, Chair, Town Clerk Ndola and team. You are welcome. For me, Chair, it's not really a question, it's just a concern. I was perusing through, and being a mother, I'm deeply concerned. The query that I have, or the concern that I have, is on page 13. It says failure to collect burial permit fees. That's 65,000. The council acknowledges. I just want to read through the audit findings by the Auditor General, cause, etc., etc. Action taken. The council issued final demand notices, etc., etc., and you have a balance of about 15,000. And here are the people that did not pay. And the remedial measure is that the council is to allowing pay for burial permit. Chair, I'm concerned. A funeral comes at any time. And I think this is a harsh decision. Is there any other, because it's very embarrassing for an employee of the council who has had a funeral and they have no place to bury their beloved one. Because The idea, I said, you cannot get a place to bury. Isn't there any other way? Or maybe you insure them or something like that. For me, I think it's a bit harsh.
How much is it?
Hmm? So maybe we could get from the source. As they are paid, if they are paid with payments. What is, so that this audit query doesn't come, than simply putting a stop to it. For me, I think it is, even under the Employment Act, you cannot just get from an employee a condition that was given to them, unless it's replaced with something. That's what the labor law says.
Are your employees insured against funerals?
Or you deduct. You cannot just get from.
Thank you,
an
Chair.
employee
I
It's
take
against
both
the law.
questions and I agree. Chair, the first one is on the officers having not paid. I must state clearly, and I'm here, Chair, to say the truth that there is no discrimination amongst the residents and developers with regard to payments for fees and charges and services that are provided by the council. We also have instances where members of the public who have financial constraints for payment plans accommodate those that may not afford to pay for the cost of a plot at once. Sometimes we enter into payment plans. The officers, the issue was basically taking too long to clear the payments. And Chair, we've endeavored to officers. I agree with the honorable member that if other members of the public paid for this in full, they ought also to pay in full. It is at pain that you push people to this far that I have to appear before your committee over what they know is an obligation they should. But Chair, we've endeavored to talk to all the officers. 2 of them are before your committee here, and 1 paid in full. 1 is still owing. The other 1 got transferred, but I'm handling, Chair, I'm in talk with them to make sure that I do not appear before this committee over what they should save my face. So that's what I can say, that I will handle these officers, that they do not make me fail to answer questions before your committee with regard to failure to pay for the services rendered from the council. But on a one-to-one, we also sometimes agree, members of the public who have a request to make on payment plans, we do. I don't know whether I can answer the other one.
How do you intend to resolve this?
Chair, the resolution is to collect the money in full. And I have written all the officers concerned, and hence this effort. Because these plots were given way back for just like that's the fair way. With regard to the workers, that meets all the expenses for funeral scheme with Madison Insurance exists. What arises is people preferring to bury at Kansenshi Cemetery, which is 25,000 kwacha per burial space. And yet at Mitengo, Kantolomba, Kawama cemeteries, we charge only 1,000 kwacha. So the workers and that's the reason, because there is an alternative if they can't manage to pay. That's the answer I would give, Chair. That because again, if we are too flexible as a management, I'm the warrant holder. I am the eye for the controlling officer, who is my permanent secretary, and I'm the one putting my job on the risk if I fail to collect the money that is meant to be collected for the council. Yes, there is an alternative. Those who cannot afford can buy a grave at 1,000 kwacha, than to insist that they get it at 25,000 kwacha. Thank you, Chair.
Do I have any more questions on the plots on Dollar Hill? May I ask to protect the two officers that they declare interest so that town clerk can speak on your behalf? You will be called in immediately this segment is over. Yes, Honorable Mwene.
Thank you so much, Chair. I think this is very disheartening. Just I've tried to check on Appendix L. I haven't seen the letters that you wrote to them asking them to pay and their responses. I haven't seen them. Are they here? Yes, the letters that you have said you wrote them letters. And just, I think to how your coming to appear before your committee and not made any serious like their colleague. I think this is very sad of such kind of officers because they are supposed to be leading by example.
Ask the question to the witness and not to the chair.
Yes, to say why have you failed to effect deductions on their pay slips so that you can recover this money? In 2013, the value of this money in 2013 is no longer the current value. So why don't you effect deductions? You make them consent towards those deductions so that very quickly, because I know their salaries I think are reasonable for them to ask to buy plots for 71,000. You can even do it 3 months or 2 months, they clear. I submit, Chair.
Additional? Yes, Honorable. Let's start with Honorable Dr. Mwanza. Then, no, let's conclude this one. I want to call the two directors once we're done.
We have entered into agreements where they can be paying in installments. If that is the case, can you show this committee some of the members from the Dollar Hill whom you had is actually deleted from your files?
Yes, witness.
Thank you.
The Honorable Member for Kalulushi, Honorable Kampamba Mlenga.
Yes, thank you, Chair. TC, just on the issue of the plots, and I also touch again on the barrier permits. I think also, as a council, your obligation to members of the public, even your employees, you must make doing business easy, and I agree with you. But allowing somebody from 2013 not to have paid, and this is so many years ago, it's like a child being born, going to grade 7,
is
and now
it 2013 or 2022?
20 what? or 2022.
Yes.
So 2022 also is a very long time. And also your role as a council is to limit the numbers of audits. This money can be recovered, and I will call it negligence on behalf of the council, because these employees are here, they are alive, and they get a salary. And I'll call it negligence again, because as a council, I feel we are not bothered because they are your employees. And of course, we want to support that the employees of the council also be given a privilege to own property, to have homes. But these are employees that are getting paid. Why haven't you from 2022 been deducting from their salaries? It's because it's also obviously the laissez-faire. He's an employee, we'll talk to him, he will say, these are senior members of your management, and it's an embarrassment on your behalf for your own directors to come and be paid. Leading by example. Why are you not just deducting from source so that you give these employees a privilege? They are also Zambians, mind you, and there is nowhere in the Constitution where it says on land. So give them the conditions that if you do want, at whatever, you'll be deducted from source. Like this, will be coming year in, year out. So also your so at consumption or whatever it is, it may allow both parties deduct from source. For example,
from our mother, honorable member from Kalulush. You can comment on the two questions from Honorable Kamondo and Honorable
Yes,
Mwe.
Chair. I was asked whether I have the evidence of having written the workers on the at Appendix L. I was checking, Chair. I must apologize that I seem not to have attached the correspondence, but I did write the workers, Chair, subject to verification by the auditors, and this audit has appeared before on this matter. So writing I did, but sorry, Chair, I have not presented the evidence. With regard to, are you also allowing members of the public? Chair, it is members of the public who have a challenge, they do right. And one of the engagements that we are being encouraged under the devolution of local government functions to the communities is to be closer to the people. So we do weigh the situation of the person who has written. It is not something that is provided for in terms of paying in installments, but those that are owing for having not paid, they are our debtors. And in our quest to collect the money, we do engage them. And those that write and commit to pay installments, just like rates, others commit to pay installments, we do enter into signing of agreements by the due dates that they should pay. I was asked if there is any evidence to show any member of the public who has entered into such an agreement. Chair, I'm unable to present that, but it is something that can be verified by the auditors.
Town Clerk, you said you have resolved to be cutting money. So how much will you be cutting? How long is it going to take?
I will engage the affected, including I should be able to present to the auditors the full recovery as they come to verify the records, if chance be given.
You have not engaged them yet?
Chair,
these who are with you?
They are already engaged, and that's why one has paid in full. One is still owing, one was transferred.
For those that are with you and you have engaged, can you confirm how much you'll be deducting at source we want to see that we are making progress on this matter. It can be coming 2023, 2024. We are now in 2025.
Seven months. Chair, I'm consulting the Director of Finance who's rate of pay, a 5,000 covered on a monthly basis from the source of payroll would be able
Resolve and take to full council for consideration and have this matter.
Yes, Chair, we will engage the workers. We will recover in full.
Honorable Dr. Manza, you have a question? A new one? And then Honorable Mwene.
Yeah. Through the TC's explanation,
Yes.
after
Kindly call back the two directors. We are going to another matter. Yes, Honorable Dr. Manza.
yes, after this engagement with the TC, he revealed that their wage bill is about 8 million kwacha per month, and yet a lot of failures, just as alluded to by my colleagues, a lot of failures to collect money through levies, like on page 25, failure to collect regularization fees, 4 million. This 4 million is almost just half of what you need per month. And next page, failure to collect market stand premiums from Kapalala market, 241. Everywhere is failure. Anyway, this has already been talked about. But yet it is a council that would have grants from government for capital projects. Because these capital projects, they would increase your revenue base. An example of negligence is on page 22, which is Chifu Market. Delayed completion of market shelter at Pine Grove in Chifu. If this market was completed on time, I don't know how many stands it has. So the levies that you collect would also assist to offset your the heavy monthly bill. Now, coming to the project, the delay in completing this project is alluded to the fact that council says that council acknowledges the observation made by the auditor on non-timely completion of the Pine Grove market in Chifu, which was mainly caused by non-immediate availability of funds, as it depended on monthly equalization funds. This is a capital project, a market, so it must be funded under local government equalization fund. And now, when I look at Appendix A, which was the addendum that you circulated, your reason for not paying the contractor was that you didn't have money. But when I look at Appendix A, the first payment, 3rd January 2024, you had money, you paid some contractor. January, February, March, you have money throughout. Why other projects were being prioritized in terms of paying, leaving out Chifu Market? The second question on this delayed project is I want to reconcile the accounts. They don't speak to each other. On page 8, on page 22, you're saying that the scope of work as at 31st May 2024, the contractor, first of all, this contract is, the contract value is 966,555. But after 31st of May 2024, the contractor had issued pieces in amounts totaling 73,544, of which had paid a total of 720,461. This payment, 720,461, happens to be almost 75% of the total payment that you're supposed to for this particular project. Now, this 720,461, why is this amount not acquitted in Appendix A? Appendix A, I noted payment is appearing and on 5th, is it, which row now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The 5th row. It's, I can say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Project number 6. The contractor is Riverdale Resources Limited, and the payment towards the construction, the payment that you've made under capital account is 363,565. Yet, it's showing the total of all the unspent projects for the year. So, this project for Chifu, you are claiming you paid 720, and yet what is on your ledger is 303. Would you explain why this discrepancy, and what is the status of our market in Chifu, so that you can, is it operational, so that you can be relieved of your heavy bill per month of 8 million as you can collect levies? Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Town Clerk, you must respond.
Yes, Chair. The 720,461 was what was paid as at 31st May 2024, and the question is, why does this payment in January, so in March 2024 to Riverdale, show 365? Chair, this 363 is an IPC, interim payment certificate, that was area issued, and it was paid in March. Then cumulatively, in May, there was another IPC that was issued, which was in an amount of 873, and we paid 723. Sometimes it's if the account is exhausted, you pay what is available. We were waiting to pay back into the account, or that being the case, then that left the 153. But the position is that this project is now paid for and the market is complete. The question is it operational? It's not yet operational. It's waiting for commissioning on an agreement with the stakeholders in Chifu that the CDF has done an ablution block, and whilst the council has done the market shelter, and so we commission both when water is able to run.
You have brought in an issue of CDF ablution block. It will bring in another set of questions.
Okay, Chair, the question I was trying to ask is whether it is operational. The answer is that the shelter is not yet operational, it's yet to be commissioned.
You can leave it there.
Thank you,
Now
Chair.
where you're going, we'll ask you.
Thank you, Chair.
If you have a resolution, where is the evidence? At what level is the ablution block? So do not provide us with more information if we haven't asked, especially where you don't have the evidence to speak to it.
I'm guided, Chair. Thank you.
Honorable Mwene.
Thank you so much, Chair. Me, I'm on page 19, Chair. Irregular occupation of council building by employee. or employees. Chair, this involves the council police officer that was put in a house to occupy it, and at the same time this council officer was being given housing allowance amounting to 52,931 at that particular time. And up to now, Chair, the council police officer has not yet been removed. Now my question is, are you recovering this money? Because to this officer, one, you have provided accommodation, and two, you are still paying them housing allowance. Have you recovered this money, or are you recovering this money from this police council police officer? Two, you have stated that you have issued a notice to vacate the house, but I've gone to Appendix G, Chair. I haven't seen the notice, unless otherwise maybe it's on another appendix. The TC can be able to guide, telling the council police officer to vacate the house. I haven't seen it, Chair. May the TC kindly provide evidence to this and tell the committee whether they are recovering the money that this council police officer is double benefiting. I submit, Chair.
Thank you. Yes, Town Clerk.
Thank you, Chair. The money is not being recovered. Reason being that the officer was merely put in this clubhouse as a caretaker because of fear to have it vandalized. And on that account, this is a building that was in fact partially vandalized when she occupied. And so she had to fit one or two things. At Appendix G, Chair, there is no eviction notice. They are just minutes of the council that discussed this issue of allowing this worker, for having stayed in this house for this long, to first vacate the house within 30 days notice be given. This was a directive of the council being given, the management. And then there was also a council resolution that she be assisted to get a low-cost plot so that she can have where to go and stay, because her contention was that she should have bought the house. It has a history of her claiming that she had partially renovated the building when she moved in. It is a matter, Chair, as I report to you. She also reported to the Human Rights Commission, contending that she should buy the house, because at one time the council resolved to sell the house to her. And then when Indola United Football Club executive questioned that decision, the council rescinded the decision that the clubhouse is meant for the camping of players, and therefore it cannot be sold. So that's how it was resolved that she should be given an alternative plot and be asked to vacate the house. That's what I can answer to this. I may be requested maybe to be assisted by my director housing, who is, if she has one or 2 points to add to what I've said. Chair, she says it's okay. I've given the explanation as the background is.
Thank you so much. So, in simple terms, according to you, you let this house get vandalized and eventually just thought of disposing it off because as a council you failed to renovate it. Meanwhile, an individual can renovate it. What seriousness is in this council, Chair, over taking care of council properties or state properties? I submit, Chair.
Put the question to the
Chair, I put the question.
Yes.
And the question is, TC,
yes.
what seriousness is in your council in looking after the council's properties when the council failed to renovate a single house that an employee of the council can renovate. I submit, sir.
Yes, Town Clerk.
Chair, the seriousness is there. And that's why we want to have this council worker move out of the house so that we renovate it. This was at the time that the committee may not be aware that at one time Ndola United was not performing very well in terms of the FAS League participation. Like the team was almost going into oblivion, there were no players to camp and there were no executive members, and at that time the clubhouse now remained neglected. But after having revived the team, there is seriousness now with the new executive that they claimed the house belonged to the club and that it should be renovated, and that the person who was put in as a caretaker be moved out. So, Chair, there is now the revived zeal to renovate the house. That's what I can say.
As we wind up, honorable members, Honorable Kamondo. Honorable Kamondo.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson. I take you to page Appendix 28. Yeah, 38, I think. The query is on failure to settle statutory and other obligations. The action taken is that the council has a payment plan in place. First of all, let me talk, for those who are actually watching and listening, they don't know how much was involved. The amount involved actually is 147 million, 147 million point 5. Then the other one is 33 million point 6. So we are talking about failures, and this, according to them, it's because of the liquidity challenges that the council has been facing. We found that the remittances that were made to ZRA, there is no proof to show that indeed ZRA received these funds. Maybe I would like them to demonstrate and show to the people that indeed these amounts of money were remitted according to the receipt numbers which they've tabulated. Yes, they've tabulated the receipt numbers, but we don't have those receipts here. Secondly, we are talking about the terminal benefits that were given to a total number of these beneficiaries who were owed, according to what I have here, they are about 180. They made some payments. But they've not actually demonstrated to this committee to show that indeed these people that they are mentioning their names here received their money. So, Town Clerk, could you kindly demonstrate to this committee that indeed the information that you have given to this committee is the information that gives comfort to this committee Extra information, could you bring it so that at least it is going to convince this committee that you have been making strides to pay? Thank you.
Thank you so much. Town Clerk.
Chair, the terminal benefits payment schedule, which is Appendix R, is a true reflection of the payments made in January to December 2024. And with your permission, Chair, my Director of Finance has just said that we are able to demonstrate to the auditors the payment vouchers. Ndola used to have problems with retirees. It is very huge figures owed to retirees, and it's a backlog that comes from a number of years behind us. But Chair, for now you will not hear of retirees demonstrating in Ndola. It is because we've made a payment plan that as we pay the current workers the salaries, even those who retired are also paid, and we pay them through payroll. And we've made it a point that at least every month we clear 1 or 2 in terms of full payments. So the vouchers that we have shown, sorry, not the vouchers, Chair, the schedule is a true reflection which can be verified by the auditors that indeed these payments were paid to the said retirees, and the money is remitted to them, some of whom we have even cleared from the list of the retirees. Then on ZRA, Chair, I'll be assisted by the Director of Finance. He will be able to say 1 or 2 words about how we have been paying, which is, he said he can explain and assist me.
Yes, Director of Finance.
Thank you, Chair. We must apologize that we should have at least attached some evidence to show the deductions. For last year, Chair, the amounts are deducted at source before we receive the grant, and that's why it's indicated on the schedule there that deducted at source. For ZLI, Chair, as well, we, like I said, it's an omission, should have attached the receipts. These can be verified as what has come on the ground, that these payments were indeed done. I submit, Chair.
Town Clerk. Page 20. Failure to avail logbooks to auditors. Why did we neglect to avail logbooks to auditors?
Chair, the answer that management gave the auditors was that the logbooks were misplaced, and we were now able to trace them, and they can be verified.
That answer is very interesting to this committee, and we will tell you that going forward we don't want such answers where documentation is not availed for audit purposes because someone is trying to hide. Look at the amount involved, 1.1 million kwacha. There's fuel involved here, and the auditors wanted to check the prudent use of vehicles and fuel. And so why should the documents disappear at the time of audit? And only appear after the auditors have gone?
Chair, we take that question seriously. I think we will not be able to give such an answer that documents went missing. I will take responsibility, Chair, that I am in charge of the council, and I will ensure that. And that's the more reason, Chair, why I came with all my directors, is to see the seriousness of these matters that are before your committee. So I will say, Chair, that we will be able to reconcile with the auditors that going forward there will be nothing like documents are missing at the time of audit.
Honorable Mwen.
Thank you so much. TC, I should believe the auditors were in your council for more than a day, or it must have been weeks, maybe 2 or how long were they in your council?
The minimum of 3 weeks.
So logbooks can go missing for 3 weeks, TC?
Yes,
And after 3 weeks, that's when they are availed. That's when they come out. Firstly, don't you see that even if it was you, in your own capacity, that there was issues that you were hiding about these logbooks? Secondly, how authentic can these photocopies you have brought before your committee, how can we prove that truly these are the true and the real copies or photocopies of the logbooks? I submit, sir.
Thank you so much. Yes, TC, your quick comment.
Chair, the logbooks, I am being guided by my officers that we carried the copies of the logbooks that were found. But Chair, I have taken your counsel that we do not entertain documents going missing at the time of audit and only to be reviewed later. And more so that there was fuel involved in putting fuel into these vehicles that must have seen that the vehicles had the fuel recorded. Chair, these logbooks are authentic. They were traced, and if they were tampered with or there has been any fidgeting around in terms of the fuels put in these vehicles, auditors are capable of tracing that, and they'll be able to inform the committee that the logbooks were not genuine. But from my supervisory point of view, I was told the logbooks have been traced and they are available for verification by auditors.
You present them to the auditors for verification. Honorable Mulunda.
Chair, me, I'm not asking a question. Chair, we have sat here.
Before I will call you, I have one important question before I call you. We go to page 33. Failure to collect revenue. 201 million kwacha. You are saying that 149 million kwacha is supposed to be paid for rates for government properties, while 52 million is for abandoned buildings where owners have relocated or have closed business, as well as residential property rates which has low compliance levels. Are you able to segment this 52 million so that we understand how much is abandoned buildings, how much is for low compliance levels for rates, how much is for businesses that have closed down?
Chair, that we are able to segment and present to the auditors, notwithstanding the fact that we had also attributed the failure to collect to the low levels of compliance on residential properties. So we'll be able to show the buildings that are abandoned. We will also be able to show the rates due from residential properties.
Honorable Mlunda.
Chair, like I said, I'm just making a comment because you have been sitting here listening to the submission by Ndola City Council. Chair, it's a sad state of affairs at Ndola City Council. Whether it's under you, town clerk, or under somebody else, this should not be allowed. Because people leave their homes and they say we're going for work. I've gone through your report. Out of 30 queries, 40 queries, about 29, 30, they are failure to do this, failure to do this. And that touches each one of you here. All the directors, just like the chair has alluded to on page 33, where the council fails to collect 201 million, and the council is unable to do services, they are unable to maintain markets, they are unable to work on the drainages, they are unable to pay salaries, they go to equalization fund when there is abundance of resources like that. On page 39, you are even justifying, town clerk, that actually we used those unqualified accountants. Now we have experienced and qualified accountants to look at the errors, to handle financial matters. Why did you allow unqualified accountants to be handling financial statements, who are failing to, to generate financial statements because they are unqualified? They are errors. So why should you have a report, town clerk, that will have 40 questions and 30 of them are attributed to failure or negligence? Just like my colleagues were saying, even logbooks, they are not there. Even change of ownership, you can't. Collecting from the plots, you can't. Maintaining properties, you can't. This, everything, failure to do this. And you read the report. And this is the reason as to why you brought the whole team, so that they come and see what happens here and how we regret, at times having our educated, learned professors in offices, those that are supposed to drive the development, because you are the end. In fact, any development that takes place in a country, it starts with the local authority. This is the reason as to why government has decided to bring all the monies to you, because you are the people that touches an ordinary human being out there through development. But if there is this negligence, laissez-faire in councils, in a city like Ndola, then where are we going? Where are we going as a nation? We are employed to deliver service. As a local authority, you are supposed to be delivering services. So we sit here and you see, you watch us. Look at those town councils. Town councils are doing very fine. But municipal councils, cities, that's where you find misapplication. When you find a misapplication in town councils, we are even surprised. But that's the common scenario. That's the common feature in all the cities. We are dealing with stories yesterday. Almost the same. You are on the same WhatsApp group. Stories and Ndola City Council, including the city here, Lusaka. So, Chair, I thought I should do, comment, because, we sit, we advise each other, we look at this, the officers, principal officers, they pledge, like you have done, that next year we will not see these things. But the question is, if we see these things, then what? Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you so much, Honorable Mulunda. In closing, I want to adopt the words of Honorable Mulunda as mine. Town Clerk, I know that we want to talk about succession, the succession preparation of the councils being a going concern. We put new officers, and when new officers come, they want to say we're a new team and we're going to improve this. But we are the same officers. Local authorities are supposed to provide service delivery. Which service delivery, when is provided, is supposed to change the quality of life for our communities. There is a tendency in the councils to only look at what the officers are able to get from the councils, while the opposite is true when it comes to providing services to the people. if you look at your report, like Honorable Mulunda said, like has been observed by all the committee members, failure to collect revenue, failure to collect revenue, so many queries on the same. And what is also sickening is that we are also failing to collect revenue from our own officers who have, enjoyed services of the local authority. You provided accommodation facilities to members of staff which service amounted to about 4.6 million kwacha. Kafubu Inn, Ambassador Hotel. We are failing to collect this revenue. On the other hand, we have problems with meeting staff obligations. We have problems in meeting statutory obligations. We are providing services to our own employees, services which they are supposed to pay, burial permits, the plots that were alluded to, and many others. On the same vein, we are failing to collect revenues from street vending, from markets. We are failing to collect rates. So much money is owed to the council, which money, if we collected, can improve the service delivery, the livelihood of the people of Ndola. But it's business as usual. This country will never develop if local authorities continue with this laissez-faire attitude. Government may think you are not generating enough resources, yet officers are just neglecting to play their part. Hence, you've seen now the new government has increased CDF to complement service delivery. While on the other hand, we will continue to see your budgets being produced. These budgets are realistic. These monies have been collected before, but we want to continue giving excuses. You have a wage bill of 8 million kwacha. It means that you have more than enough human resource to carry out the works. But what are they doing? They are waiting for somebody to come from outside to come and do capacity building. Yet these are officers with degrees, doctors, officers who have attended so many courses in Chalimban. But once they are in these offices, they become comfortable and forget that they went to school, they were taught that we must provide service. We have floods in Lusaka, yet we have so many engineers. They don't have solution, but they were in school for over 5 years. Director engineering in city councils, municipal councils. Are we proud with the services we are providing? The answer is no. Ndola City Council, your reporting standards, 2022 qualified accounts, 2023 qualified accounts. You are the big brothers that are supposed to lead as an example. We hope that we will put our accounts in order this time without going back to ask the Office of the Auditor General to reinstate our accounts because of errors which are carried forward from 2018-2023. We usually say thank you for appearing, but sometimes it's hard to thank a council for appearing before a committee because the queries, like it's been noted, most of them down like border on negligence of employees. Chief officers, we want to see you supervise your subordinates. We want to see Director Finance not being in the office. You go into the markets, work with the cashiers instead of being in the office. Director Engineering, let's go on the ground, monitor and supervise the projects going on instead of all the time attending workshops. Sometimes this is why we're finding that things are not happening, because we're in Livingstone, we're in Chipata, Not that you shouldn't attend these workshops. It's part of your conditions of service. But we need to improve the service delivery. We must account for resources. 1.1 million logbooks in fuels. Officers don't want to avail this information. And when the auditors leave, this information is found. What is the story? Year in, year out, this must come to an end, Town Clerk. In speaking to you, we're speaking to the other councils. These are queries that the committee will not entertain going forward. If my chairman Nyambose was here, he was going to tell you that we had a serious engagement with the Office of the Auditor General, the Ministry of Local Government, the Local Government Service Commission, and Ministry of Finance, as regards these queries. We would like to see punitive measures being taken to officers who neglect to do the right thing. This is government, the national cake, especially in the local government service, can change the people's lives. If we get it right in local government, this country is able to transform. But we have officers who just want to treat work as Niva Boma and get a salary. For me, it's just that we had to change the law because we needed the councillors' conditions of service to go up. Otherwise, that 20% capping that we had put on equalization fund was a very good law. But even with that law, you see, Town Clerk, we continued borrowing money to pay for ourselves, to pay for our salaries, yet we are neglecting to go and collect monies where we're supposed to get money. With that said, Town Clerk, you can see we are worried. Can we improve the operations of the councils, especially in Dollar City Council, Solwezi, Lusaka? We shouldn't have this conversation, this kind of audit queries year in, year out. We take back our immunity. We can just ask that you travel safely, and it is our sincere hope that you take the council here very seriously. We hope to see changes, especially in the next report. You are free to leave, and the immunity which was bestowed on you is hereby uplifted. Go well.
So watching Parliament Television, the station that is dedicated to bring Parliament closer to you. Remember, the Committee on Local Government Accounts is considering the report over the Auditor General on the audit over the accounts of local authorities for the financial year ended at 31st December 2023. And right now we take a look at some of the witnesses which appeared before the committee today, 28th of January 2025. So at about 09:30 hours, the committee did receive submissions from the Council Secretary, Chavuma Town Council, and also the Council Secretary, Ikeling Town Council. And in the afternoon, the committee did just receive submissions from the Town Clerk, Ndola City Council. But that's not all for today. We still expect the Committee on Local Government Accounts to receive submissions from Manyinga Town Council. But just to make mention that this witness did appear on 24th January 2025, and the committee did request the council to reappear today and make fresh submissions. So I urge you to get glued right here on Parliament Television as we continue to bring Parliament closer to you. My name is Joa Katama, and on sign language interpretation desk we have Chola Kawama, and not forgetting people in the controls making sure that you are able to watch Parliament Television, the likes of Banji Kove, Smatlungu, David Mulenga, Monica Kunda. So very soon we take you back to the Committee on Local Government Accounts as we expect the same committee to receive submissions from Manyinga Town Council.
You can't do such a thing.
Yeah, I'm Neva's.
Samson!
Who's this? You know this guy?
Babe, don't worry. This is just my useless ex.
Yeah, no. Useless indeed.